Yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
Oh.
All right. No sound. Now we got sound. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We're good. Okay. So let's start this all over again.
Oh, man.
Wanted the victory show. Has not been able to come for a while, okay? We continue on this brutal, dreadful, abysmal, pathetic run. And then we start off the show like this.
Oh.
So, yeah. Monday mornings, hey? Monday mornings.
Hey, I'm on vacation. I got nothing but time today until about 10 o'clock. But anyways, I got nothing but time. Perfect start for what we saw yesterday. Perfect.
Dream start. Dream start based on 6 points out of a possible 21 over the last 7 games. We're going to get to it all, right? In terms of the news, it's very, very quiet out there, which is a little bit surprising because usually, you know, headlines media, they love to fire things up when this is the mode we're in. And I found that kind of strange that over this past 7-game stretch, this is where it's at. And it's usually been kind of quiet the following day. Today's no different. There's nothing really noteworthy in the news. It's just the same old. And then you just get legends coming out and talking. And Ravanelli now can't back Allegri. Just kind of how I was starting to teeter over that edge yesterday and said that something's got to be done. Well, headline, theme of this show today, changes are needed at Juventus. It is not just one role, though. We're going to tackle it all right? So, you guys, man, yeah, 6 points, 7 games, sums it up all. Thank you guys for joining in. What's up to everybody? Vincenzo G, Alex P, Adam Khan, at work, still jumping in time to time. Appreciate it. Guys, drop a like while you come in here. We're going to tackle it all right now. First off, starting lineup. We talked about it in the pregame show, Anth. No problems with it whatsoever. Like that he was staying away from Kostic, continuing on Illing Jr. Moretti was going to have to give it a go there. McKennie getting back into the fold. And McKennie, we'll talk about McKennie, all right? Because for me, that's a sign. It's a sign of something that's going down at Juve. We'll talk about it, okay? But, yeah, it should have been enough. And to be honest, the way it played out, we did enough. Again, for 2 back-to-back games. We'll get into this. Okay.
They're a boogeyman, man. Told you.
First half. Not much for highlights. 12 minutes. This is what frustrated me. Not much for highlights in a game that Atalanta was happy to give us the ball. We had a lot of possession. That opening half hour, we had 0 ideas how to hurt them. No creativities. No idea.
0.
Little energy. Very little energy. And it was mostly from Chiesa. I will give him credit there on the energy, but some bad decisions by Fede too in certain circumstances, all right? Overall, I think his game was just fine. But 12-minute, he sends one in for a Moretti header. That was basically our best chance in the first half.
Routine save. I thought it looked like a better save live, but on the replay,
pretty
it was
easy.
A good chance, but he just didn't turn it enough. But it was a routine
Pretty easy stop. Again, a lot of possession for the first half hour for Juve. Just no ideas. No energy. 0. Very, very tame first half from Juve. 34th minute.
Predictable.
We pay the price for it. And it's Coop Manners. Of course you knew it was going to be Coop Manners. Okay? And this is on a set piece. Set piece where we have 3 defenders on the left side of the wall against 4 Atalanta players. Mm-hmm. So, obviously predicting the shot. And that was a great spot to have a hit from. I was caught off guard that they were going to run that play. And then they slot it over. Coop Manners just drops a little bit, makes his run in, has a hit. No chance for Tech on this one. 1-0 Atalanta. Now, Pasalic, after the game, goes out and says, yeah, we do this all the time. It's just we never have success with it because teams study us. Thoughts on that one, Anth?
I don't know who that is. That
was their midfielder who pretty much pulled all the strings yesterday.
Okay. Well, when you see 3v4, it's like, well, let's run the gooseneck, whatever the hell you call it, off the train. That was a training ground play that just worked to perfection. That didn't even have to work to perfection. He had that much time to settle and hit that. He hit it one time through some bodies. Like, he put that on net, and all he had to do was put on net, and it went in the back of the net.
I just don't understand why, even on corner kicks, sometimes we'll zone up like that and just not. I don't understand how they're happy to concede a shot from the top of the area there if you've got one guy less. It's just weird to me
that might have been their only shot on net that half.
It could have very well been. I think they only finished with 3 shots on goal in the entire game, to be honest. 3 or 5. Like, they didn't have much. 7 total attempts, maybe 5 on target, or 5 with 3.
With 3 on target.
Yeah. So, nonetheless, I don't understand that. I can't fathom how we're fine with this and nobody's saying, hey, I got an extra or I got 2 over here. Like, what? We're not manning up here? It's weird. It's weird. Nonetheless, do stupid shit, pay the price. 1-0. We go into halftime. I said something out of watching that first half go down in the watch along, and that was move Cambiaso into the middle of the park because our midfield wasn't creating enough through Miretti. So for me, I would have had Cambiaso add in there to help. I would have slotted McKennie over to right wing back because McKennie's going to find a way, and he has done so this season, whether he's at right wing back or he's at midfield. Like I said, a lot of it is just energy and that will to just beat the guy across from you. McKennie has that. McKennie has that will. So good on him for consistently being a guy that shows up. But Cambiaso moving into the middle, that was a great call. What were your thoughts kind of at half on any adjustments?
Let me see what I wrote down at halftime. There wasn't really a lot. Let me see what I got here. Through 20. I thought we were playing through the middle a lot more, which was nice to see. We weren't relying solely on going down the wings the whole time. I thought that was a nice change. In doing so, Miretti drew a lot. I think he drew 2 or 3 free kicks at the top of the box, through that play, which is something we haven't seen a lot. Like we haven't been drawing those free kicks in dangerous areas. Now, we did nothing with them, but still, point still remains. We were still doing good things that way. And that was it. And then the Atalanta set piece, that was it. They did nothing to hurt us that half.
Yeah, they really didn't. We didn't do anything really should have pushed us in the lead, but they didn't do anything that really should have gained them any kind of advantage for me. So second half, I think it was a great call putting Cambiaso in the middle. It helped. It helped almost immediately. He makes a big difference. The midfield for us is this sore spot that just keeps popping up. It just keeps popping up. Then you've got 50th minute, Milik with a nice touch on a pass in for him. He sends Chiesa in on goal, wide with the left foot there. Infuriating for me. Infuriating. Gotta hit target. Gotta hit target there. I'm going to keep it level with all our guys in those positions. You have to
I heard.
force a
I heard.
stop.
I read someone made the excuse that it was on his left foot. It could have been on his left rear kneecap. I don't give a shit. You got to hit the target from there.
Yeah.
Force a save. Like what are we talking about here? You're a
He's
striker.
fucking 8 yards out to the left. That's got to be a save by Carnesecchi. Bottom line. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So frustrating there.
Or turn it
55th
back to your
minute.
right foot.
Yeah, 55th minute. Good stop from Tech here on a shot from Skamaka that was dipping into that far corner just from the top of the area. Nice stop there from Tech. 65th minute. McKennie to Chiesa. Back to McKennie. He slips through a beautiful ball for who? Cambiaso, who was attacking spaces, was very active, full of energy, moving him into the middle, gets him into a position where he can make this run. And then the lovely finish. This is a brilliant finish. A toe poke through the wickets on Carnesecchi. Beautiful. 1-1. Push. Get after this fucking lead. Okay? Get after this lead.
Yep.
69th minute. Illing Jr. just spams a cross in there. McKennie, again, wins his battle, chests it right down for Milik, and Milik just makes sure he doesn't do anything great there. He just volleys it on goal. Because it was pretty damn close to Carnesecchi.
Yeah, I think it got tipped. Did it get deflected? Might have.
It might have taken a slight deflection because then it ends up hitting Carnesecchi's shin and in the goal. I don't give a shit. Beautiful. Beautiful. 2-1 lead. And we've got them reeling. We're pushing them back.
And what do we do?
We sit. We just drop back. We drop back. And this goal, okay, this is just dreadful defending. And in the 7 games where we're on this brutal run, okay, the defending, some of the goals we've allowed have been so piss poor and completely unacceptable from a point of standing there watching. This is one of those goals where we are literally sitting back and they still have acres of space. I don't understand how Pasalic has the ability to turn 30 yards out from goal and has absolutely no one around him to the point where Bremer... to the point where Bremer has to make a decision, even though Coop Miners is right there to his left. He's got to make a decision if he steps forward or if he hangs back because of this through ball coming in. And Danilo is our captain, is standing 5 feet from the back of Coop Miners, okay? While he also has Illing Jr. behind him. And down the line, nobody fucking communicates to one another. And Illing Jr. says, Danilo, step to Coop Manners, whatever, like give Bremer that freedom. None of them do a goddamn thing. Bremer steps. Coop Manners gets slipped through by a nice pass. And then the same way Cambiaso scored on Carnesecchi, Coop Manners threw the wickets on Szczesny. To be fair, Danilo almost got there to block. But if he was on his back and read that and anticipated that, which I would have, at bare minimum expected from our guys, it should have been easier to shut down. He probably could have cut off that pass had he not have just waited there. This is piss poor all around. All around. Shit defending.
Yeah, it was just too easy.
Yeah, way too easy. 2-2. There you go. And then to cap things off, okay? And I'll give you the sub. 76th minute, Keane comes in for Milik. Caviglia comes in for Miretti. 82nd minute, you've got Sandro in for Illing Jr. Weah for Cambiaso. Are we not going after a win?
Yeah, there was. I gotta check what those times were out again. Would Cambiaso came out at 2-2?
Yeah, well, these are all at 2-2 after they tied the game. A couple minutes later, Keane comes in for Milik. Caviglia comes in for Miretti, which I don't have a problem with because Miretti was really doing nothing, okay? Sandro in for Illing Jr. when you're 2-2. I have no idea. No idea what the thought process is there. Weah in for Cambiaso. Cambiaso, one of the only guys creating throughout there, tells me, oh my God, I don't want to lose it.
The McKennie change made sense because I think he hurt his shoulder, so you could see he was grimacing.
That
for a
was
while.
88th minute though, Anth. That was 88th minute bringing on Yildiz for McKennie.
Yeah, that one is.
That was
I thought Yildiz was
88th
dead.
minute.
I put it in our group chat. I was like, is Yildiz dead? I was like,
I don't understand. I can't fathom some of these moves today, like yesterday in this game. Okay, 92nd minute.
Normally, what we've said here, and people can go back and watch tapes. Normally, Max gets the subs right. Normally, we don't have an issue with the subs. Normally, it's like they all sort of make sense with what he has. They make sense. Yesterday.
I can't make sense of it unless he was fine gaining a point on Bologna.
Which we did. That's a true statement.
Which is a statement that is fucking appalling. All right? Which I'll get to. I'll get to. 92nd minute to cap this motherfucking game off, okay? Gatti and Keane fight each other off of a free header. Yeah. And make a mess of it between the two of them. I have no words when I see shit. They're literally jostling each other.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder. They did well to break it up from the other. It was actually... an Atalanta defender couldn't do it any better than they did that to each other.
It was fantastic defending by, either Keane on Gatti or Gatti on Keane, but that's got to go in the back of the net to end it. And to be fair, once I see that, I've seen enough. Shut her down. 2-2, okay? And like we said, 6 points in the last 21 games. Oh, my God. Feels like a loss. They've all felt like losses. I made a mistake yesterday in my short after recapping the game. I said 4 points out of 21. Someone corrected me, said 6 out of 21. Sorry.
Jeez.
Wow. 6 out of 21. Okay, my word. How could I make that critical error? Brutal.
Dumbass.
Brutal. We're going to get to everything in this aftermath. And the chat's like fired up. I don't know if they're at my level, but I'm fired up and I'm going in on kind of everybody today. Performances. Yeah. Overall, this game, we're going to talk about the players first, but statistically speaking, this team was in a position to win this game. Okay?
Played well. I didn't think we didn't play, but we played it good enough to win that game.
There was nothing wrong. If everybody that's kind of shit on this team for any type of statistics had nothing to fire on. 51% possession, 18 total attempts to 7 for Atalanta, 5 on target for us, 3 for them. 3 big chances created by Juve, 0 big chances allowed for Atalanta. Statistically, that is everything for you to win a game. Atalanta's expected goals, their XG that some people die on a hill for, was 0.48, okay? And they come out with 2 goals. Everything was there for us to win this game. What the stats don't tell you, it doesn't show you the attitude. Doesn't show you that drop-off when you're at 2-1 and you invite this kind of nonsense instead of a Juve that should be smelling the blood. Going away from the successes. I'm going to talk about that in a bit when I get to Max, okay? Because that's something the stats don't show, okay? And credit to this team, they did snap a trend yesterday, which was the brutal second halves from 5 to 6 there, okay?
Good second half. Yep.
And 2-6 says, what's funny, our second half was actually better than our first for once. Yeah, it was. But just brutal. Still just brutal that these goals, our defense is gone. This trustworthy defense is gone. It's completely broken over this stretch. Got to stop trusting it. We're going to talk about Max's involvement in that. First off, though, man of the match. We got to talk about player performances, individuals. First up is the man of the match. Anth, who's your man of the match?
McKenny. Again, wasn't even close for me. I'm going with McKenny on that one.
It wasn't even close for me either. McKenny standing out. Cambiasso, I think, would probably be close to him for me for man of the
Sure.
match. But
People went away. Why not?
McKenny by a landslide. He is the first player to record multiple assists in back-to-back games since Malinovsky, I believe, and I can't remember what year it was. I saw that posted. He's having a tremendous year, okay? And I'm going to start off by just saying this. What does that say for our roster? Okay, and we've got the man of the matches coming in here. McKenny, Adam, Vincenzo, Mac, McKenny and Cambiasso, Wes, Cambiasso, Suarit, McKenny, Cambiasso, and Chiesa, top three. Suarit always got to get Chiesa in there somehow, you know?
That's right. Yeah,
Extending a man of the match to three. I see what you're doing there,
agenda.
all right? Now,
that's okay.
what does that say about this roster? Because I am going to go in on these players. I am going to go in on these players too, okay? What does that say when a guy that we tried to shop all summer
Get the hell out of here.
is the only guy, okay, that is bringing the best version of himself game in, game out. He is outplayed. He has outworked everybody on this team consistently, okay? What that tells me everything about these guys and their fucking balls or lack thereof. Because is McKenny a standout technical midfielder? Absolutely not. His technique is nothing to write home about. However, half of the battle is that will to win, to beat that guy across from you. This guy is bringing it consistently. For these other guys, it's just not good enough, and it hasn't been there. We're going to go down the list on players here. Cambiasso, great game in my opinion. He was right there with them, no problems. Miretti, go eat some fucking panini. It was weak.
He had moments. He had moments where, again, we always say he gets in the right position. He's there. There was one time he was arm battling with the defender, and he thought he was going to get the free kick, and he stopped, and that kind of broke out. Atalanta broke out from that. I think it was an even man breakout with our defense, but still, just stuff like that. Like at the top of the year, you got to fight. Sometimes you got to fight through stuff. Right? He was doing it in the first half, but he sort of fell off.
Listen, Miretti.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't terrible, but it's just like there's something missing.
There's a lot missing in decision making time and time again, and he was getting into good spots. It's the same old story with him that decision making doesn't come. Illing Jr. I thought he ended up getting better in the second half. His first half was really not much. Not much there in the first half. Second half better, but overall, I'd say an okay performance. Better than Kostic.
Agreed.
But that's still not saying a lot, okay?
Fair enough.
You know?
Yeah.
Locatelli, frustrating. So frustrating for me. What did we say in the preview show? I said Locatelli needs to have a big game. He needs to influence this game and bring something. His passing was dreadful. If it wasn't a safe pass, it was off the mark by a mile, and he was left stuck with no ideas for so many times.
He was trying to spray it around a little bit in the first half at the beginning, and I was on the main. I said, "Oh, here we go." He sprayed a couple long balls, but yeah, then I don't know if it's where he's being told to play, but him playing between our center backs, I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing back there, man? He sits way too back. I'm gonna leave that to other people to decide whether that's where he's supposed to be or whether that's where he feels comfortable. But
Locatelli out shouts, okay, and not yet. Make or break is next
Yeah.
season. This season there's bigger fish to fry. You got way too
Yeah.
many question marks in there. Not yet, okay, not yet. But Locatelli, not nearly enough from a guy. And this is one of the things, okay? Because I'm gonna get to Max. Don't worry about Max. Everybody wants to fire up
Everybody
the
settle
Allegri.
down.
Don't worry about Max. I'll
Settle
get
down.
to Max. But these guys need to be held accountable no matter who the coach is. Otherwise, we're going to go in circles. We're going to go in
Yep.
circles. And you guys think the change is going to come like Saudi, etc., and we were going to be lights out. No, you have to look at these guys. You don't wipe the slate clean, put it all on a manager, because we're talking about individual performances, all right? And that, yes, they have to be held accountable. I'm going to get into these players, okay? Because Cavilla coming in, brutal showing. Weah, I called him a city worker. That was prime evidence. Okay. Makes
He
doing
wasn't good when he
nothing
came in.
look strenuous. Here we go with these players. During this stretch at Juventus, because we should never go through a stretch of 6 points in 21 games in league play. Fucking embarrassing. These guys should have been read the riot act a while ago. And the message shouldn't have come from Allegri. That message should have come from a guy like Giuntoli. That message should have come from him weeks ago and should have been like, guys, you know what? You're playing for your jobs. Because right now, if we can go down this many players out of a lineup and pick out 2 that played a good game, you know what? That ain't good enough. You guys aren't playing for your jobs. Or they simply don't give a shit to be a Juve, and that's a big problem. So they should have been read the riot act. In sports, football, this is not the first time a situation like this happens. And when this goes down, yeah, you react by the players get read their riot act, and the coach gets canned. Coach gets canned,
Normally.
and the players get read the rioting act. This is definitely another lowest of lows where the sack usually comes down, okay? And stop it with calling off these players. 70% Allegri and everything. Give it up. Don't let Juventus players off the hook. Stop it.
I agree.
Stop it, okay? Or we're going to go in the same circle with the next coach, all this. These players need to man up. They have not been worth...
Yep.
Everyone wants to talk about this wage list. It's embarrassing to look at our wage list based on what we get as far as output. When you have the ball for that much time in the first half, figure it out. If you need a guy to hold your hand, a coach to hold your hand to win a battle across from you as a man, you're not worthy of Juventus. Period. End of. If you think this roster is of Juve caliber, you are incorrect. It is a product of the circumstances, which are financial. 3/4 potentially of these guys aren't on a Juve side if we don't hit 342 million euros in debt 3 years ago. Okay? That's just the way it is. Rick, much appreciated. Okay? Donation. If you think Allegri is the future of Juventus, my Nona can play for Juve. This is unacceptable, period. Stop treating your loyal fans like dickheads, Juve. Apologies, boys. I appreciate everything. Fire it out. Let it vent, brother. Let it all out, okay? We all feel the same way. A roster aside, like I said, this needs to end. You can't keep hitting... I said this a while ago. You can't keep hitting a stone wall year in, year out, even if your roster isn't up to snuff. Mentally, everything, you can't hit this wall over and over and over again. Right, Anth?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you there. You went on a pretty good rant. I thought that was very good, very clear, concise. I think we're done with the players. I think you and I both agree. I think a lot of fans agree. They're just players aren't stepping up. When you're down 1-0 and you put in that much effort to claw back, like like Pacino says, with your fingernails every inch to get up 2-1, and then you sit back. Like, what are we doing? Go for that third. Like, you have all the momentum in the world, and then they just like did someone just snuffed out the candle, right?
Yeah.
It was a little embarrassing. The players should really be embarrassed of themselves, and then the
Ma-
substitutions.
Now we'll get to Max because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
he does have to answer the toll. He sits in the seat that bears the most weight, regardless of these players unable to be
Yep.
consistent. Consistency is on the players. Again,
Mm-hmm.
McKennie, guy we would have wanted shipped off this summer. Nobody batted an eye at. Our best player this season, consistently, tells you everything. Okay, tells you everything. Roles that we don't have. Cambiaso having to come into the midfield. As a midfielder, I would be embarrassed because that means I can't get the fucking job done. And I look at that, my pride would be fucking hurt. And that's the reality of it, is that I don't think these guys have those feelings. I don't think these guys look at things that way. I think part of it might be the manager babying these guys. But you know what? They're all wrong.
I know.
You win as a team, you lose as a team. They are all wrong. Max Allegri, okay, post game, played a better second half. We were more aggressive. Need to improve in the defensive phase. I feel Max Allegri has lost touch with the scenarios and what's going on with his team and what the successes actually are. Because yes, during that streak, the defense was trustworthy and we could fall back on it. That has been broken. He needs to realize, change. You can't approach the games in the same manner because it's not working. Flat out. 6 points out of 21. Gaining one on Bologna, even to say that, is insulting to Juventini and embarrassing. Embarrassing.
I can see he's trying to find some positive in it, but it's like
Read the room.
that made no one feel any better.
No. This whole thing with ultras, bringing up ultras and this sign over there congratulating thing and saying that the ultras should be against him, whatever. Guys, don't look at the ultras in this sense, okay? Yeah, they're backing him. They're showing respect to him and stuff like that on an achievement, okay? But saying that the ultras will back anything that goes against the board, which I saw out there, I can't remember who posted it, it makes no sense. If anything, Allegri is associated to Agnelli, who the ultras had major problems with. So if there was one guy they weren't going to back, it was going to be Max. But nonetheless, that's why that's a moot issue. It's nothing. Who gives a
Nothing
shit?
burger.
Who gives a shit what they're doing? I could care less about that banner there. We have to change. What did I say over the past couple days? What have I been saying? One of my main things, the finances. The finances will dictate everything at Juventus, like they have this roster, like they will with Max Allegri. If top 4 becomes in jeopardy, do not be surprised if Juve acts out of character and gets Max out of the chair while this season is still unfolding. I know people can't see it. There's only 10 games remaining now. I would not be surprised. They are, by all means, going to try to hang on for those 10 games to finish because they may, in fact, just want a guy that's at Bologna right now. There is absolutely no way I see Max getting out of this one, Anth. Thoughts?
I I will say that if this 7-game run was between match days 14 and 21, I don't think Max survives it. But since there's only 10 games left, I don't see them dropping Max off now. Only because of where we are. There's 10 games left in the season. In any sport, and let's get serious here. In any sport, any sort of run like this, I would say from a mid-table club, they're changing the coach. from a top club, I'm really on the fence on this one. I think they're gonna hang on with him, but it is so unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to Juventus. It's unacceptable to Juventus fans, right? This run, and unfortunately, or fortunately, like you said, Max is in the big chair. You're not going to can the players. It's always the coach that's going to get the axe.
Yeah.
I don't see any other way of breaking free from this other than making a change at the coach.
And like I said, these guys should not be let off the hook by any means, or we're not going to see
Fully agree.
any improvement, okay? They need to be read the riot act as players because it's nonsense. It's the same situation that the Napoli Ultras held their players to. Rudy Garcia comes in, he gets fired, regardless of what anybody thinks of Rudy Garcia, and we knew that was a shit firing. Those Ultras put out a banner calling out the players and saying what the hell is going on, because they still did enough to win those games and were just shitting the bed on the pitch. These guys need to be held accountable, all right? That can't change. That message can't change. Or when you do bring in the next guy, and this is one of my fears, the same shortcomings will show up amongst the roster even with another guy. So the roster needs work, but finances are key. What did we get on the news today? What did I say? Summer of 2025 is probably when I expect the shackles to be lifted from Giuntoli. And today the reports suggest that it's 25-26 season when Juve expects to be level financially. Okay? Financially
Makes
even.
sense.
So it makes sense because, yeah, we're chewing away at it, and they've done a good job. I think bringing salary from 414 to 300 million euros, still working on that. Okay, the expenses are high, so that debt doesn't just vanish, right? That's why we're working on, and that's why I think this roster is just not cutting it. But as far as Allegri goes, you cannot hit this ground zero, no matter who you have at your disposal, every single season. You can't do it. You can't do it. I could, defend him up until this last run of form where this team has completely broken, okay, from seemingly a draw against Empoli, okay? Big deal. Big deal. You can't get over that. And Max, now, this is the biggest thing for me too, looking at solutions that many have been calling for throughout the season. You know what I mean? Like, even when we were winning, we're saying, hey, you know what? Rugani's doing well. Like, maybe shake up the back line a little bit, keep it solid. The left side doesn't seem trustworthy. Maybe we should give Illing more goals and whatnot. Like, he's looking at that now at ground zero. If you are getting paid that much, I need it to be proactive. I needed it to be solidified. I needed this. If we're going to test 4-3-3s, if we're going to test 3-4-3s, 3-4-1-2s, I need it to not be chasing games. I need it to be like, okay, like, we're comfortable with this. We've done it a lot. Like, we know, like, I know this guy can come in. This is your role. That's a big problem I have. Anth?
I still don't think we have a terrible roster. Like some people say,
It's not terrible. No.
I still think we have it's still okay.
The
It's not to a
guys-
level that it should be.
The guys are terribly inconsistent.
Yeah,
That's kind of a difference too, that nobody seems to be picking up on. There's nothing stopping from Locatelli playing the way he did when he came back from that Azzurri stint
yep.
for those two games. There's nothing stopping that.
Nothing stopping Rabiot from playing like last year. Like
That's
the players
on
are there.
the players. Danilo has been shades of what he was last year to us. That's on the man. They're not. It's not a terribly awful roster. These guys don't have the consistency, though. Worth a shit.
So, and that's why, like, some people say that's the people who really support Max. They say, well, and they're right. It's on the players. Like, they should be playing better. But it's also on Max to get that out of them. How do you change the system? Do you change where they play? Do you bench them? Do you bring in other players to compete for their position? Like, that's also on Max to get that out of them.
Yeah. And I can't get over that. Like, so Frank's here. If players aren't performing, that should tell you something. So Frank, we should hire a coach and go buy 10 million euro players. And Juve will win Scudetti because of the coach. What are we even, are we ignoring players owning up to their own consistency and their quality? Not to fire at you, Frank. I'm just sticking to my guns and not backing down from calling these guys out too. I saw it with Sarri. I saw it with Pirlo, where the same guys were a goddamn issue. At the end of the day, these guys got to man up, okay? No matter who comes in here. Okay? No matter who comes in here. Allegri, for me, you can't be looking for answers every single season. You just can't do it. You hit this wall. It's, for me, I see no way. I see no way. And Lucas Fernandez, who is a follower, longtime follower channel and everything, he told me he sees the extension coming from Giuntoli to Max Allegri. No chance.
Zero. I think it's at 0% now.
There's absolutely, in my mind, there's absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance he sees that, okay? In terms of this Juventus, to get off this coaching thing, players thing, because the fact of the matter is, everybody's in on this. Okay, to wipe the slate clean on the guys, like Tony Trim said, it's 50-50. We need a fresh voice and a different mix of players. We definitely need to bolster the roster. You need, and it's not just quality. Because McKennie's a prime example that enough energy, work rate will take you far as well. It's just the roles. It's the roles fulfilled. I also think yesterday is a prime example that the alternatives that we're looking at, this fan base is starting to believe like 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds can be saviors. Why is Juventus looking at these guys for so much? Because we haven't had the money to get guys we've wanted. I don't believe in this youth project that, no, those guys are going to be used for influx of funds. It's still smart business. It's great. You integrate the ones that are worthy of it, and the rest get used as bargaining chips and sales. Brilliant. But if people are holding on to Agnelli's words of 8 integrations annually, guys, we got bigger problems than worrying about 6 points out of 21, okay? Like, we're becoming a feeder club. If you're looking at 8 integrations annually, there's no chance. There's no chance.
That's what Udinese and Sassuolo do.
Yeah, like there's no chance that is a recipe for success. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, okay? In terms of moving forward, we still have games to play. We have to get enough points to get into Champions League. Not getting into Champions League is just unthinkable.
Disaster.
Can't even go that far, okay? Now, in terms of players, I'm going to ask you this first off, and everybody in the chat. Was Rabiot missed yesterday? Did anybody feel like Rabiot was missed yesterday?
Last season, yes. This season, no.
Yesterday in that match, was he missed?
No.
For you? No? Yeah, I would say no.
I also came into the middle. No.
Adam coming in here saying no immediately. Hard saying no. Rabiot from last season has been missed this entire season. Yeah.
Agreed.
And this is why I can't see it. Same system, same everything. Shit. Neville says yes. He was missed. Vince says no. Swarit, no. I don't think he was missed. I don't think he was missed. And when you're looking at contracts and everything like that, Rabiot has been missed all season. Yeah, he's been ghosted. He's been ghosted. It just goes to show you financials, player value, wages, and the output. It's just a lot of the guys we were supposed to bank on this season haven't brought it from them. They haven't brought it consistently. There's nothing wrong with calling these guys out on it.
You think Duson's earning his paycheck?
In 2024, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That Napoli game really killed him. Really killed him. Okay? Really killed him, that Napoli game. But 2024, he has.
But I do like his response afterwards. He's like, that's on me. He's
accountability.
Like, mm-hmm.
3 guys I would lock into right now. Only 3 guys. And I'd probably hear offers on everybody else. And it's Chiesa, Cambiaso. Sorry, not Chiesa. Vlahovic. Not Chiesa. It's Vlahovic, Cambiaso, Bremer. As far as the rest goes, I'd actually probably listen to offers on every other player. Yildiz, I'd like to see stay. But I don't.
I'd like to
keep
McKennie. I think McKennie's earned it. I think he's, even as a role player on this team, he's earned it.
But as an untouchable, those are my 3 that I would say it's going to take a hell of a lot to get me to even think about. Okay. And yeah, sorry, it's Alberto out. Yeah, sorry, man. Fede doesn't make the cut for me. Doesn't make the cut as untouchable for me. Talked about performances and everything. What did you think of Chiesa's performance yesterday, Anth?
I thought, like you said it before the Napoli game, he has to be dangerous. I thought he was dangerous in the first half. He causes the other team problems, but maybe it's because of who's around him. Maybe it's, he's been working well with Dusan, but he just wasn't getting into those dangerous positions as much yesterday as he was in the Napoli game. Other than that, like if you put that one ball away, it's a completely different story on that game. But I thought his attitude was better. I think he's shaken that off, that poor attitude that he had in the first half of the season. Maybe Dusan is rubbing off on him a little bit. He really needed to take the bull by the horns yesterday, I thought. And he didn't do it.
Well, and that kind of seems to be the ongoing thing. And again, the position that they're in a lot of games, they should be doing a little bit more. I don't know what this expectation is from a coaching perspective to a player perspective that we're not necessarily seeing. Everybody wants to see planned, designed attack strategies. They want to see designed plays and everything like that, but it's not really like that for a lot of coaches. I would love to see way more. That McKennie-Chiesa play is not off the training ground. That's just guys getting after it, attacking space, and then Cambiaso doing the same, attacking space. But you have to be able to read that. You have to read that as a player. You have to go like, there's another team playing all the time. If you think you could just sit in a room, chalk something up on a whiteboard, and it's going to work every time magically when you're on the pitch, then what are we doing here? It doesn't work like that. Real life isn't like that, okay? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Mike Tyson, who, by the way, is going to fight again. He's old Jake Paul there. That's ridiculous. He couldn't find somebody older. Now, Cambiaso moving forward. When we talk about roles, when we talk about players, I loved the decision to bring him into the middle of the field. Is it a necessity moving down the rest of the games to get him in there for the creativity and slot McKennie out to right wing back? Because I would do it.
That's the easiest change Max can make.
Yeah.
It
I
pushes nobody into a position that they can't play.
Yeah. And it would go a long way. Like Rabiot's going to be back. Once Rabiot's back, he's probably going to make up,
Do we
you
have
know.
a return timetable for him?
No, they were saying hopeful for like next week to play, which I find still shocking based on what happened with the toe snapping like that. But he's going to be back at some point. But Cambiaso in the middle of the field is something I would probably move towards. I would move towards to get that creativity, to get that that dynamic play out of there, even over ahead of Alcaraz. I would argue because of what Cambiaso has been doing. I would definitely look at it. Alcaraz shouldn't be out very soon. He shouldn't be out, or shouldn't be out
he
very
was
long.
10.
Excuse me.
He was 10 to 15 days
Yeah,
before he's reevaluated. So that's at least one.
he could get back in.
He's
Could get back in.
he's definitely not there this week.
Cambiaso playing well in the middle is impressive and frees up a spot in the outside. Big Mac and other guys are comfortable out there. Yeah, it just makes sense to try and help us in creating more and get that edge. But all of this is for naught if, like I said, the one thing that's on the stat sheet that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude has not matched what has had to happen out there. When you start getting after games and you're getting after teams and all of a sudden it starts to work, this is a huge knock on Max. When that starts working and you start giving teams fits and you go up one goal, you don't shut it down. You don't shut that down and then give that opening to the other team. That is becoming, it's disconnected from the game and what's going on. You're going away from successes. We talked about it against Napoli. In the first half against Napoli, you're pressing, you're pressuring, and you're getting a lot of opportunities through that. But then you stop that in the second half and you don't really do it a lot. There's a disconnection there from the approach and what is actually working for us out there. That can't happen for any manager.
But I don't know if that's so. It's an interesting point, but I don't know if that's. How do I put this? I don't know if it's predetermined. Like if we're up, we play like this, or is that Max on the sidelines saying we're up 2-1, and he's making adjustments on the fly to say, hold this line, hold that line, or is it the players? Is it the players saying we're up 2-1, we're good, we can hold this?
I think it's just got
I
to
think
cut.
it's a
History
combination of
would
all of
say
them.
it comes from Max. History would say it comes from Max. Who takes the third mid spot versus Genoa? I'm giving it to, like, if I'm going to make this midfield, even if Alcaraz is available, I would go Alcaraz, Locatelli, and Cambiaso.
Agreed.
Yeah. Miretti's had a million chances. I'm just, the next time I see this guy, it's got to be on loan. Genoa's going to be difficult. Of course, Genoa's going to be this whole month of March. We said it from when it started. Napoli, Atalanta, Genoa, Lazio. I asked everybody how many points you thought Juve was going to come away with. I said 7. We're still on pace for that, but you got to win the next 2.
I said 8. So there's no way I can get it. God damn it.
Starts at 4:30 a.m. my time. Sunday morning. Watch along. In effect, everybody. Storm the Barn. Get your Storm the Barn questions in. We think Cambiaso should be in the middle of the pitch for Juve Genoa. As far as Juve Genoa goes, Genoa has 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses in their last 5. Doesn't tell the full story basically on how difficult they have been to play against, okay? This is going to be very, very difficult game, even though we're at home. It's just this run of form, and it's this mental block that continuously hits Juventus that they got to snap out of, all right? We will see what happens. We'll obviously tackle all that in the build-up, but Storm the Barn, get your questions in right now. Reminder to everybody that's with us, like the video while you're
Yeah,
in here. Subscribe if
100%.
you're new to the channel, all right? And let's get into this, okay? If you're tuning in on your audio outlets, what the hell are you waiting for?
What is the matter with you?
Get to YouTube and subscribe.
But we
God
appreciate the
damn it.
support.
Now, Swati, first storm the barn, starting midfield against Genoa, and a front three of Chiesa, Vlahovic, and Yildiz. So
No, I think Yildiz is dead. I don't think he survived. He must have been in a bus crash or something because I don't think he's around.
88th minute to pull him in. You are you going with that front three?
I said we should have started Yildiz and Chiesa yesterday. I would have loved to have seen it. I think it ended up being the way the game played out. You were right in your pregame analysis of having that big, strong striker to hold off their defenseman. It made sense. I still want to see it. I would love to see these three idiots go at it. Love
Okay,
it.
the three of them. But you guys were talking about a front two of Chiesa and Yildiz
Yes,
against
yeah, no,
Atalanta.
that's
Different,
saying,
yeah.
Yes,
But
but with these three, yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
I
Who
think
wouldn't?
if you go 3-4-3, my thing is, how do you run this midfield? So you're obviously going to run the two. Locatelli's going to be one of them. Rabiot's probably not back, so Alcaraz as like this pivot guy who's naturally more advanced. It's kind of weird. McKennie, it could work with McKennie and Locatelli, maybe. Cambiaso, I wouldn't do it with Cambiaso. So if we're gonna get the best out of like the attack-minded guys, you kind of got to run three like we did against Napoli and have two that are advancing
You couldn't play Cambiaso on the left and McKennie on the right.
as wing backs, but then who's your second midfielder with Locatelli? A
Hans.
guy that's normally advanced. Or Hans, but Hans was dreadful yesterday. Like dreadful. It was bad. It was bad. He made a couple of passes when he first came in. Everybody's like, see? And then all of a sudden it just straight downhill from there. Like, yeah, I take it back. Hans shouldn't be in there. These guys, this is what it comes down to. These younger guys they're still green. They still need to be a little bit more ready. But it does speak to the fact of rotation. Still key, even in one game a week. You still got to get these guys their reps. You know?
Like Locatelli is just absolutely logging minutes. Like this is unbelievable.
What did we say about I feel like we called this out a while ago, saying that like even though you're in one competition, you have to keep competition for starting spots there. These guys are complacent, you know? But I'm open to Chiesa, Vlahovic, and Yildiz starting, but I feel like you'd be fine having Cambiaso in the middle, still rolling with Chiesa and Vlahovic. I'd actually like to see that. I'd actually like to see Cambiaso play in the middle of the park with those guys ahead of him and keep it the same on the outside with Illing Jr. And let's run three mids the way we have. Get Illing Jr. on the side. McKennie is right wing back. Cambiaso in the middle with Locatelli and another midfielder, Alcaraz if he's in there. And get Chiesa, Vlahovic up top. Yildiz, let him come in the second half to replace Chiesa. I'm going to be fine with it. Storm the barn from Adam. Would you want Dybala back? No.
No, he's injured again, isn't he?
I don't think so. Did he get hurt yesterday?
I saw somebody put it in the group in the message here way up top. Dybala's
I
injured
didn't
again.
catch that if he got hurt yesterday.
No.
I saw that
We are-
Roma drew against
Me and
Fiorentina.
Berto, don't ask this question to me and Berto. Me and Berto are moving forward. We are
Yeah.
going that way. We're not going that way.
Hey guys, what would you think about getting a foreign manager? Might bring in a different mentality than we need, a new football philosophy that of Conte, Allegri, Pirlo, Sarri didn't bring. I've never cared what the manager is, if he's foreign, if he's domestic. Like, I've never cared if he's Italian or not. Why do you say no, Ann?
Okay, well let me rephrase that. I don't want a manager who's never coached in Italy.
Okay, so he could be a foreigner.
He could be because there was what was his name? The guy from Bologna there for all those years.
Oh,
I want somebody who understands the league, who understands what it means to win a Scudetto, who understands what the other clubs bring. No, you gotta need some. For me, it has to be somebody from Italy.
Interesting. I'm I'm open. For me,
Sorry,
foreign or
it could be
not.
a foreigner. It could be a foreigner, but who's played in Serie A, who's maybe assistant in Serie A. Sure, but no, not somebody who's never coached in Serie A. Hell no.
Yeah. Forza Inter, come on, man. I knew you'd be up here.
You son of a
Alberto, still
bitch.
feeling good about top four with Roma, Milan, Fiorentina, Bologna, Lazio, and Torino to
Yes.
come. Yes, I still feel fine about top four.
And thank you for your support as well. We appreciate it.
Yes. I feel fine with it. Still fine with it. Fine with it. It's in our hands. We are our own worst enemy. Let's snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who has been the biggest disappointment for you this season? Ooh. Okay.
It was Dusan. It was.
Yeah, I would agree at that point. He's turned it around. Biggest disappointment for me?
Chiesa started hot too. Like they both started hot, and Chiesa hasn't. Biggest disappointment? Probably Chiesa. Maybe Locatelli. One of those two. I'm gonna go with one of those two. I don't like the word like you. I don't like to use the word disappointment. I like to say who was I expecting more from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. We can turn this into rainbows and butterflies and try and keep the snowflakes. Keep the snowflakes from getting offended here, but it's the same question any way we slice it. So it's hard for me to say that Rabiot is the biggest disappointment when we had doubts if he could keep the consistency in the first place.
Agreed.
So I can't drop it on Rabiot. Chiesa has played enough, and I don't want to hear about this out of position crap and whatnot. Chiesa's kind of bugging me, and when he gets called out for attitude and then you see it pick up, you know that something's been off there, and that's just unacceptable. But I still wouldn't say Chiesa's my biggest disappointment this season. I'm starting to lean towards Luca, and I'm a huge Locatelli fan. But after 3 years, like, you've got to evolve in this role, man. You've got to evolve. You've got to bring more. You can do it. You've showed it.
Mm-hmm.
To just see performances like yesterday when we're on the ball quite a bit, and you just, I'd have to say he's up there. He's up there for me right now, because I do expect more. I have bigger expectations for him, and it's hurting me. It's hurting me. 3 names for future coach: Motta, Conte, and now what are we saying? Like 3 names that I would specifically pick? Maybe that's probably what he means. I'll take it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back and forth, so I don't know if Conte makes it in there. I seem to want new faces and new ideas if we are going to make the change. I have reservations about Thiago Motta, but I would say out of all the up-and-coming managers, he probably deserves a big club shot more than a guy like Italiano or frickin' these other names we're getting. We were used to get Dionisi and all this and stuff like that. No, Motta would deserve it ahead. Zidane, I think you're definitely going to run into the shortcomings we're running into now roster-wise with a guy like Zidane, but I would love Zizou to come in as a coach. De Zerbi, I'm a flat-out no. Any guy that just goes out there and says, I'm just happy, I just want to be happy with my work, it doesn't matter about winning. No, what the hell are we talking about? No, you're done. I'm open to the Conte return, though. As much as I hate returns and I don't want to see a return, I would put him in the mix. bring me Mota, bring me Zizou, bring me Conte. Like at this point though, like there's a lot of work to be done. Who would
I
you
mean,
pick,
yeah.
Ant?
Motta's doing good things with Bologna. Uh, Zidane, I'm a hard no on that one. That's a hard no. Like the guy got the keys to the probably the
Oh, I hear
greatest
you.
team ever assembled. So yeah, no. Conte, as much as we need what he would bring to turn the team around, long term, it's not. He's a short term fix. So like, let's just say Juventus decided to do something with Max next week. Let's just say I would bring Conte in as like the short term fix for the rest of the season, but long term, no.
Yeah. I know, and Rick here, no, no, Alberto, no, please, Conte. What did I say earlier about these players need to be read the riot act?
Yep.
There's the master of the riot act right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He makes you eat the riot act, is what he does.
yeah. Miran asking about the final 10 fixtures. All right, so we will go down. Obviously,
You
we
can do that
know
now.
Genoa, Lazio immediately happening for Juventus, and then we have the Coppa Italia there. After that, okay, with Coppa Italia, you got Fiorentina. You have the Derby della Mola, okay, Torino, Cagliari. You have the next Coppa Italia match against Lazio, the second leg. You've got AC Milan. So April, as far as league play goes, Fiorentina, Torino, Cagliari, Milan. Again, you've
Got
got
to be
Genoa
9
and
points.
Lazio right now, which are two. All these games were winnable games. And we,
Mm-hmm.
based on what we did on the pitch, we should have come out with the 3 points against Napoli and against Atalanta. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it is in our hands. The
Yeah.
shift, these changes that need to come at Juventus, it's totally in approach, okay? And Max needs to snap out of this low block nonsense when you take a 1-goal lead. Stop ignoring the successes. So we can go down all these games. Roma in May, Roma, Salernitana, Bologna, Monza. I'm fine with top 4. It's still up to us to figure this shit out
Mm-hmm.
amongst the players and the coach. They all have to get it together, okay? And that's what it's going to come down to. It's tricky. It's tough. It's tough. We knew we had a tough finish to the season in terms of the games, but man, the drop-off is huge. What do you think of all the ridiculous visible frustrations? Chiesa kicking the boards, shout battles amongst each other on the pitch. We heard about Locatelli and Chiesa getting into it. These guys being asked too much, question mark. I don't think they're being asked too much. No.
Just do your job.
I think that they know they're failing. They know
Mm-hmm.
that they're failing. They know that when Danilo comes out and he says, we don't feel inferior to Inter. I don't really give a shit how you feel. It's evident you are inferior based on what I see on the pitch. That is up to you guys. It's evident you're not there. And coming from Danilo, who has been shades of himself in terms of how consistent he's been from last season to this season.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the second goal that we allowed yesterday to Atalanta. Take your man out. Like, read that. Be proactive. Like, anticipate. Focus. They're not being asked too much. In terms of the players' frustrations, it's 6 points out of the last 21. I would hope that they're pissed.
Yeah. I hope they're not
You know?
high-fiving each other for bad passes.
Yeah. But Dad, are you comfortable being 10 points from 5th place at this moment? We have to, we went over the games. Are we capable of not slipping up anymore? Well, that's going to depend on what these other teams do. Roma got a draw against Fiorentina. I don't know Roma's schedule going down the end there, but they've only got, that's 1 point added to 4 out of the top 7 sides they've faced this season. So they now have 5 against top 7 sides.
I am equally comfortable us shit in the bed as I am these teams behind us shit in the bed as well.
Yeah, Lazio, Fiorentina, those are Torino. You know, they always play us tough, and they are tough to face this season. Milan is actually playing well. all the shouts for Pioli, all steady throughout this season. It's going to be difficult, but I still feel it's in our hands. And we've done enough to win these past 2 games against 2 good opponents. We can get the job done. We can see this out. We can't fall off like completely. How many points do we need in our remaining games to secure top 4? According to Max, it's 10. But
I think
might
it's
take
a little bit more than that.
Might take a little more. But if we're looking at this, I'll pull them up again.
What I have it here. The magic number I have with Roma is 21, and the one I have with Bologna is 28. I think so. Points that we gain versus points that they lose. If they add up, they have to add up to. I guess Rome it's 21. I think with Bologna I have 28.
I can't see it being 10. Okay, well, we got, like we have a 10-point gap there.
So it's a 10-point gap with 30 points available.
No,
right?
It can't
so
be.
If you get,
it can't be 10 for me. Like it's
so
there's
if
going
you
to be
get
more.
21 points, you should be fine. But
yeah,
so it's
going to be a little bit more than 10 for me. I'm not sticking with Max's 10 there. No, like minimum probably 15. Half of those points minimum. Yeah. I think to be safe, to be like secure, I'd say minimum is 15. 10 seems way too low, but we'll see what happens. When we were up with Inter, did you guys think we would win the league?
Yes.
I thought we had the potential to do it, and the potential was there. Yeah, of course. Of course I thought so. I mean, everything was there. Defense that was sturdy, creating a lot offensively, not finishing to the sense we want, but we did have balance issues across the roster, which we called out. This is why I say Max didn't really look for any alternatives there. It's frustrating. Locatelli, we have one here. Is he movable with this season's performances? Next season, make or break, not this season. Ant agrees? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we got to talk about Koop Manners. What did you think of his performance yesterday? He's been a big target for Juve.
Well, his value just went up to 75 million.
Just had to do that prick too, eh? I think in terms of Koop, he did what we know he can. The thing with Koop Manners is he could play in all the roles in the midfield. That's what's nice about him, okay? I thought he had a strong game playing in that hole just behind the forwards, Scamacca, De Catalare, and he did what he needed to do, and that was find the space, and they were breaking the lines and finding him well. Thought he put in a good performance. As far as Emerson goes, he's just a solid mid. He's not flashy. He doesn't do anything. He flies low under the radar. I think he's underrated, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. But, yeah, we'll see what Juve acts and what they do. Right now, it's all hands on deck to get top 4. That's the bottom line,
we can't be worrying about summer targets. Like
summer, what's going to happen with the coach, all this. Right now, it's put the agendas aside. Let's see this team through to top 4.
Done,
we
man.
have to get top 4, okay? You guys, I went on a crazy tangent earlier. That's because that's how I feel. I'm pissed with everybody involved, okay? And it's okay. We should be. This is unacceptable. 6 points, 21 points, 6 points out of 21 last 7 games. Should never be happening. And it's never going to be the case in a team sport with 25-man roster, coach, a management, a board, to have that happen at Juventus is never going to be one person's fault. But I stand firm. We cannot continue in this manner. You just can't. You just
and we got an
can't.
espresso match next week. Woo-hoo.
It's there's no defending what is happening at Juventus, and nobody should be given a pass. Okay, so we keep it level with everybody. For me,
well, Giuntoli.
yeah, read the riot act to all the players. The message needs to come above Max, from above Max, okay? That message needs to come to these guys. And for Max, I think that any hopes of any extension just ran out the goddamn door, okay? For me, changes needed. Cannot continue this way. I don't care. I understand we haven't actually started a build. You can't say that with what we've done in terms of Mercado business. The build hasn't started, but you still need a foundation there. If Max Allegri's foundation is supposed to be the defensive side, that has completely been blown up and imploded. You don't even have that to fall back on. So there really is nothing that we're clinging to.
Someone put in here, first time in 30 years we've conceded 2 goals in 4 straight matches.
Yeah. The defense is gone. So if that's what we were hanging on to with Max and working forward, still creating enough and seeing these guys be wasteful, it's gone. It's blown up. You have to move on. If there's no defensive solidity from him either, he has nothing. So it's done. The defense completely wiped out for a number of different reasons. Attitude, approach can be one, aggressiveness, and players themselves stumbling. But it's gone. That was Max's claim to fame. It's gone. So the identity, this is what I mean by we can't hit this point every season. Our identity, Anth, is shattered. We're at square one, ground zero.
You got 10 games left to figure it out.
You can't do it. We can't keep looking for an identity year in, year out. So you have to move on. Changes are needed, in my opinion, all right? I defended this guy and I fought for him from last season to this season. I didn't think he could hit the run that we did this season, okay? I didn't think we would see that. And I was wrong. But overall, we find ourselves in the same spot we were last summer, which is a goddamn shame. And that is looking to make yet another change and more changes, I think, even with the roster. Everybody should be looking in the mirror, but these players should not feel safe. Okay? For me, they should not feel safe either. They are not playing to me like guys whose jobs should be on the line. That's a problem. That's a problem. Big changes to come. Anth, always a pleasure, man. Wish it was a victory show. We got Genoa on deck this weekend. You guys know 4:30 a.m. I'm pretty sure it's 4:30. It might be 4 a.m. start time. I'll be rocking the watch along, all right? And hope to see you all there. Guys, drop a like on this video before you take off. As always, appreciate the comments, the discourse across the live chat. You guys are second to none, all right? AJC Army, you guys are the best. We ride it out through thick and thin. I do believe change is coming. For those of you that think that contract extension is getting handed over there, I just really can't see it, you guys. I really can't see it. I believe change is coming, okay? You guys take care. Enjoy the week. You guys know the drill. I'll be bringing you the daily news updates, and then we'll hit you with the match day preview probably on Saturday since it's a 4:30 a.m. start, and then I'll get you on the watch along, all right? You guys take care. As always, no matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juve, rally the fucking troops, you guys. Top 4, we cannot fall out of top 4.
Just do something different, whatever it is.
Send one of our guys up into a tree and spy on Genoa if that's what you have to do. Take the Torino approach. Do what you got to do. We got to get the job done. Take care, everybody. Ciao.
Yeah.